Greetings to the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and more specifically to my chapter brothers at Zeta Delta Lambda chapter in Henrico, Virginia. My name is Brother Joshua Mitchell, a spring 2012 initiate of Zeta Delta Lambda chapter, extending a hearty congratulations for 30 years of a job well done. It is my regret that I was unable to be with you all tonight to celebrate, but it's my honor to present to you this brief multimedia presentation entitled Z Thrust, 30 Years of Alpha Excellence. In this multimedia presentation, you will find photographs and brief video clips that give you a brief chronicle of our journey from 1982 to where we are today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and my prayer is it inspires you to continue to walk in the light for another 30 years. Enjoy Z Thrust, 30 Years of Alpha Excellence. Enjoy.
On a nice cold Tuesday, December 4th, 1906, in Ithaca, New York, 7 noble men, Henry Arthur Callis, Charles Henry Chapman, Eugene Kinkle Jones, George Biddle Kelly, Nathaniel Allison Murray, Robert Harold Ogle, and Vertner Woodson Tandy created the genesis of an organization that would be known as Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. 76 years later, 12 noble alpha men decided to form a chapter in Henrico, Virginia. And on March the 5th, 1982, the Zeta Delta Lambda chapter was formed. 30 years later, we celebrate Z Thrust, 30 years of Alpha Excellence. The first event. This first event took place in March of 1982 after Nationals gave word to the brothers that the chapter was approved. The event was in the clubhouse of Governor Square Apartment, which are now Colonial Treehouse Apartments right next to the Henrico High School. The significance of this event was to make it clear that Zeta Delta Lambda was an official chapter and that it was ready to receive brothers into its arms and reach out to the community. For these brothers, the charge was clear that they would reach new dimensions in Alpha. On May 22nd, 1982, the official chartering ceremony for Zeta Delta Lambda chapter took place. Brother Hanley Norman, District 6 Director, was the keynote speaker, and this was an exciting time in the life of Zeta Delta Lambda. The menu had plenty delectable delights, including salad, choices of meats with roast beef, barbecue spare ribs, and baked chicken. There were vegetables, turnip greens, whole kernel corn, and mashed potatoes, as well as rolls, butter, assorted desserts, coffee, tea, and milk. One of the highlights of the evening was the Alpha Singers, who performed at the chartering ceremony. This was a group of brothers from both Zeta Delta Lambda chapter and Beta Gamma Lambda chapter, who came together and sang several selections that helped to make the night something to remember. The Alpha men to charter the Zeta Delta Lambda chapter were Philip E. Battle, James P. Cuffey, Alan J. Foster Sr., John S. Green Jr., Clifton Johnson, James M. Johnson, John C. Puryear, Leo H. Ross, Weldon H. Smith, Dennis R. Winston, James E. Wright Jr., and Carol E. Sanders. Since its inception, Zeta Delta Lambda chapter has been a leader in Alpha, both in the region and in the nation. Zeta Delta Lambda chapter was twice selected the Alumni Chapter of the Year by VACAPAF in the Eastern region. 3 chapter brothers were selected the Alumni Brother of the Year by VACAPAF in the Eastern region, and in 1987, a chapter brother, Leo H. Ross, was selected the National Alumni Brother of the Year. Xi Delta Lambda chapter has provided the community with much of its leadership. Charter brothers, such as James M. Johnson and Dennis R. Winston, have served as leaders in education, business, and art. Brother D2 Kazooie served as the international president of the Urban Financial Services Coalition. And many chapter brothers continue to serve in positions such as scouting presidents, vice president of the NAACP, presidents of their alumni associations, president of the Henrico County Civic League, and much, much more.
We cherish thy precepts, thy benefits.
Xi Delta Lambda chapter has always had a strong foothold with its involvement in the local community. One of the flagship events of the Xi Delta Lambda chapter is its annual Celebration of Life concert, co-sponsored by the Weldon H. Smith Scholarship Foundation and the Xi Delta Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. The goal of this concert is to raise funds to provide scholarships for local young men in the Henrico community. Xi Delta Lambda also takes seriously its involvement with both national Alpha Phi Alpha programming and local programming of its own. This includes oratorical contests, Weldon H. Smith Scholarship Fund, their participation in voter registration and voter restoration efforts, the support of the March of Dimes and March of Babies, participation in Be the Match, bone marrow drives and registrations, their annual toy drive and involvement with Toys for Tots, blood drives, as well as participation in Brothers Keeper, Henrico High School mentoring, YMCA Bright Beginnings, and much, much more. As the chapter has continued to grow through the years, Xi Delta Lambda chapter has had several significant celebrations to honor the milestones and achievements of the chapter. Two, in particular, are the 10th anniversary celebration banquet and ball and the 25th anniversary banquet and ball. Throughout the years, Xi Delta Lambda has been pushed by its exceptional leadership, including the leadership of past presidents Leo H. Ross, Weldon H. Smith, Gregory R. Stallings, Larry D. James, James M. Johnson, Elbert Brinkson, Wayne A. Hill, Tony T. Moss, Jerome O. Lee, D2 Kazooie, James O. Mason, Darrell L. Coker, and Tony M. Mall. The brothers of Xi Delta Lambda also hold in high regard the memory of brothers who have transitioned into Omega chapter. Some of these brothers include Brother James P. Cuffey, Brother Dr. Arlington Finley, Brother Asa James, and Brother Weldon H. Smith. Xi Delta Lambda chapter is a diverse chapter with brothers of all walks of life. It houses new brothers, seasoned brothers, local brothers, and brothers who have relocated from other places. For all of these brothers, they have found a home in Xi Delta Lambda chapter and are working towards fulfilling the aims of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated in the Henrico County area. For the brothers of Xi Delta Lambda chapter, the brotherhood bond is strengthened through holiday mixers, brothers night out, fellowship opportunities with the brothers of the chapter, and worshiping together at various churches in the region.
Abide with the saints. Alpha, Phi Alpha, the
One of the unique gifts that Xi Delta Lambda chapter has is that it currently serves as the advisor chapter for both the Gamma chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and the Upsilon Gamma chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Xi Delta Lambda and Gamma chapter have won the Charles H. Wesley Award nationally, and Xi Delta Lambda chapter brothers serve as mentors for brothers of both the Gamma chapter and Upsilon Gamma chapter. Though college days swiftly pass, imbued with memories fond, many of the graduates of the Gamma chapter and Upsilon Gamma chapter have come into the fold of Xi Delta Lambda and have felt right at home. To this day, Xi Delta Lambda chapter continues to support and cultivate the brothers at Gamma and Upsilon chapter through senior dinners with the brothers of Gamma chapter and Upsilon Gamma, through various fellowship opportunities on their campuses, through rededication ceremonies, as well as homecoming events. As the chapter continues to move forward, it continues to embody the phrase, new dimensions in Alpha. And as it has done in its first 30 years of existence, the brothers of Xi Delta Lambda chapter are committed to continue to develop and cultivate young men through our go to high school, go to college programming and initiatives, to build brotherhood amongst each other, to add new brothers to the fold, to continue the legacy of Xi Delta Lambda chapter, and to continue to serve the community through innovative programming and a commitment to the aims of our organization.